Yo, what up, though, everybody? This is the Pop Culture 223 podcast coming at you. Boom, boom. So, I got some homies here today with me. This is my sixth show,
Yes, sir.
and this is kind of accumulation. We're going to talk about a little bit of a lot of different stuff. Accumulation of all of my shows and some other topics we got to talk about real quick. I'm going to introduce my homeboy. I got two homeboys here. I got Dre with the Authentic Podcast. Say what up, though. Oh, say it again.
What up, though?
So you can't see Big Dre, but he off here to the right of me. And I got Dub. I got the Bear on the ones and twos. I want to say Dub and the Bear.
Say, man, Dub out of town, man.
I got the Bear on here on the ones and twos again. And I got my other homeboy here, Sinister 556, the Mr. Bougie himself.
What up, though?
Since 556, get a couple of them shots.
He keep get a couple of them shots. So look, I brought you on, bro, because I want to say you're an avid podcaster. I mean, listener, but you got some time behind listening to podcasts because of your profession. You're always in the truck driving, so you listen to a lot of different podcasts. So since the beginning when I started until like the fifth episode, what did you think about it? Like when you was listening to it, the content, the audio, just everything. Because we kicked it about a little bit, but I want you to, just tell the audience what you thought.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought when I first started hearing it, like it was good. I don't know how it was gonna sound. Like, yeah, 'cause it's a new podcast. So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
Then I started listening. I'm like, oh, this is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it sounds like everybody else's podcast.
That's what's up, brother. We try. We do Screw Productions. We try to, be professional.
Well, so everybody, love it, like what we doing. But I didn't want it to be like a bias. You know what I'm saying? Like, be critical. Tell me what you think.
I told you.
Tell me what you think about it and how, not just the audio, but just
don't hold them back.
Yeah, not just this because our relationship, but like the content what we was talking about. Like he was like the audio was on point, and I was like, well, that's the Bear, that's the Deuce Crew production. That ain't me. I just brought the idea to him. So I was like, yeah, don't be biased. Tell me what you really thought. So I've been getting good feedback since the first episode to the fifth one. The only thing about doing the podcast and when I have people on, like I wish I would have asked more questions. Like when I had Ron Aussie on from Go Be Great on Purpose, he's a dean, right? Now, he told us off air that we probably I should have asked him on air, but they do active shooter drills at the school.
That's what's up.
He said he does it.
That's what's up.
When we came up, we didn't. It was the 70s they were doing
70s, 80s.
when they were doing bomb or cold.
Yeah.
Tornado.
80s, 90s, all this stuff. Yeah,
Right.
tornado stuff.
Right.
You'll sit in the hallway with your legs between your leg, or head between your legs, right?
Yeah, like
right
on the
at
plane,
desk.
kiss your butt goodbye. That. So he said he do. What I'm saying? They do that at the school. I thought that was cool, right?
Hey, and that shows you how much the times have changed, right?
Right.
It's crazy, but you know what I'm saying? They got to actually go through that.
And I'm okay with it, right? If my kids in school or whatever, teach them whatever's current relevant out there that you need to protect
Right.
them from.
Right.
Let's work on it, right? And then when Chad was on, right? Like we didn't ask him about when COVID hit, how much did their membership go up?
Right.
Because of that. Because everybody was scared. Everybody wanted to.
Right.
Gun sales went up.
Right.
Activity in the gun store, people would
Classes
shoot.
went up and everything. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the question I was going to ask him, how much did the membership go up? Because not everybody want to be a part of something. Want to be a part of that.
Right.
Like that's a question.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wanted to ask.
It was good shows though. We had good.
It was
quality.
all good shows.
Yeah.
Everybody keep pumping up the Bear. Like they don't say nothing about heavy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a bet with it, man. We a bet with it. You
You know what I'm saying? They don't like say that. They don't say nothing about heavy. I was like, look, I'm gonna get tired of y'all talking about the Bear.
Hey, and real quick, man, just to give him his flowers, so to speak. This is just a credit to Dub. That's the other half of our podcast, Dub. STS with Dub and the Brown Bear, because he's normally the engineer for our show and for Dre's show. So a lot of this I'm learning from watching my brother do. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the computer whiz and the engineering whiz and always has been engineering our show. So I'm picking up on what to do from him. So I'm a reflection of him. So, I want to give him his just due as well for that.
I tried to, Dub. He trying to shot you down. I said his name first. But yeah, Dub was, man, like I said, this putting all this together is people been calling asking like, man, where y'all do the studio at? Like, you know, can I
Right.
get in this and this? So I said, well, you know, call me. I'll connect you to the people, to the
Right.
right folks to get you
Right.
together.
More than happy to accommodate you. It's all family here.
Right. So then I had Randy on. That was cool because that was my first one, and because he's a trained professional
Right. Media journalist.
it was cool to talk to him because he was just rambling, going, and you know, he came from the IDPA world, so it's always cool to get people that's gun dudes on here, so we can, you know, we can go down that hole real quick. And then we had Jeff on from DMI Performance. And the homie Jeff from DMI Performance, he brought the idea to me.
Sensei.
He brought the idea to me about the you know, is it against your religious beliefs? How do you feel about carrying a firearm, knowing, you know, your background in the religious world? That was a great topic, like I said. Just diving off into that was like, man, like I said, I was researching, looking up because I need to know information about it. So it was all cool. Dre, what you think about my podcast since I started to now?
Basically, you know, it's always the first episode. It's always nerves because you think about doing a podcast, then all of a sudden a mic in front of your face, you actually got to do it. Like, so the first episode is always the breaking the ice. So from the first episode to now, man, just gradual, you know, evolvement. So, I mean, I see it. I think I said when your first podcast was over, once you got past the nerves, man, just like riding a bike. Say what you got to say.
I had took some of them peaches.
Hey, shout out to Old Smoke.
Shout out to the Smoky dog.
Shout out to the smoker. I will never take them jokers again on an empty stomach. But
Matter of
hey,
fact, I think there's still some peaches in the fridge too.
I tried one last time I was up here. I won't do it again. Them boys been sitting and marinating. But you know, I was like real Pharaoh, man, on Talladega Nights. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Right.
Do what I'm supposed to do with my hands.
Right.
On my first episode. But like, you know, after I shook the nerves off, it was on and popping, man. So
Right.
So look, we want to get straight into it. I got a question for y'all, and it's probably the Bear and Fred. Is it hard for y'all to teach people to keep one in the chamber? Like when you a CPL instructor, like I didn't, I was straight one in the chamber, right?
Me too.
So was you straight one in the chamber?
Yeah.
So when you talk to people like, hey, you know how you carry, they be like, oh man, I don't keep one in the chamber. And I'm like, why? Why don't you? Oh, because I keep it by my groin. You ain't pulling the trigger. I'm like saying, how many you walk around playing with your groin? Well, some people maybe pocket rocking in that joker. You know what I'm saying? But
That's that Plaxico Burris, man.
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like it like people don't like it was a conversation and like, no, I don't keep one in the chamber. And people say, well, you're supposed to train like it. You know, it's okay to not to keep one in the chamber, but you need to train like it. But I'm just like, the everyday person don't train enough to understand that, right?
So what I'll say is this, because I want you to finish that. But what I'll say is I think there's a stigma about, and I originally was victim to it too, but I think there's a stigma to the fear of a gun going off while carrying appendix. You know what I'm saying? And dudes having this fear that they're going to blow their balls off. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we know guns don't just go off. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And if they do, it's something that's faulty with it. Like, prime example, we all know Sig had some issues with a fire and pink thing, and they did go off. So yeah, I would never carry a 320 like that because they have been known to do that before. So yeah, that's a defective gun that had that happen. Other than that, 99% of handguns, unless you grabbing the trigger, it's not gonna do that. So, but I think that's the stigma of that, and that's where that kind of comes from.
I was just like, listen. You don't train enough for the muscle memory to understand to pull it out, get it out, rack it, and get on target.
The people I know who do it, who carry without one in the head, they don't train at all.
Right.
Let alone they don't go to gun range. They don't. I know a few people. And I'm like, so what's your reason for that? Well, I carry it right here. I don't want to shoot myself. I said, what's your finger doing on the trigger? I said, it sounds like you need a whole lot of training.
Right.
You think they got the training?
Hell no.
All right.
Of course not.
Right. So I'm just like, so in a situation, you reacting to the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of counterpunching it, right? So any advantage I can get, I need it.
Exactly.
Seconds count. Now you telling me I got to pull it out, rack it, knowing that I'm gonna be probably trembling, scared, nerves, your body. Now I gotta rack it, and I might even forget. I might even not remember what to do. I might just pull up and go click, click, and be like, oh, them seconds count, right?
Oh yeah, you're already at a disadvantage.
You already did a disadvantage, and I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the average CPL holder that gets the firearm. That even if you carry it at 3 o'clock, right?
Right.
Do you keep one in the chamber? Now you don't have to carry appendix and keep one in the book. Do you carry one in the chamber? And my logic was like, look, if you train with it, train how you gonna carry it. One in the chamber. If you don't put your finger on it or practice gun safety rules, you're good, right? So I'm just like, look, like it's hard to get people to. It was hard to get people to understand that, right?
So so when I'm teaching in a class, like people are asked to, and they want to be safe, and I get that. Everybody wants to be safe, handling a firearm. But I get people that they want to get a gun with a manual safety.
Yep.
And I akin that to the same thing as I teach them the same way with that, like I do with the one in the chamber. It's like like you just said, train with it. If you just bottom line have to have it that way, cool. I don't recommend it, and I can tell them the reasons why. Everything like you just literally said, seconds matter. But if you're going to, you better train with it, or it's useless to the point. Like I tell people all the time, if you're gonna have a gun that's got a manual safety, you better learn to literally be part of your motion of pulling out, hitting that thumb, and then going forward. Because other than that, you just do this, and it's oh shoot, and then the thumb, it's the same thing as having the rack. And then you got people out here that's double. They not carrying one in the chamber and got a manual safety, so they doubly screwed.
And I guess the one finger is always the safety, right? You got to pull a gun for it to do something. You got to pull the firearm for it to do something, right?
Right.
Now even with us, a malfunction happened to a gun. Us three sitting here probably with being blindfolded in the dark can tell what's wrong with that gun just by pulling the trigger. We can clear it, get it back up, and get it back on, right? We talking about eyes closed in the dark, right? Most people don't. It's
they
not
even train halfway enough to even know.
So peep this. Me and Sinister got staccatos, right? They had the safety. Dude, it was still hard for us. It was not hard, but it was still thinking through the process with getting the staccato out of the holster, get it on target while taking the safety off. It's still a process.
Yeah, we got to work through that.
Hey, I'm gonna stay look at the camera. They said they got them staccatos, right?
I got it on me.
Them boys.
And the CZ orange, he got that.
Right, and the CZ, them boys. They
got it on me.
That's pretty Tony.
Pretty Tony. Yeah, do you name your gun? Do you name yours?
Nah. Oh, I ain't exquisite as Sinister, man.
Oh, yeah. I got one I named. Well, I got a Mamba. I call him the Mamba. I got a little SBR Mamba.
I ain't there yet.
But it was still hard it wasn't hard. It was still something to get used to.
Right.
To get that firearm up on target and take the safety off. Now seconds matter. Like, let's say I can draw in like 1.2 seconds, right? So now I'm like at 1.6 because I got to get that gun up, get it off. But it took time to work on it. And we shoot all the time.
We had to drill it.
We had to drill it. And that's still a mine. And even when they go to slide lock, on my M&P, I can slap that mag in there and it go straight to battery. Nope. That staccato is like, nope, do something to it.
M&Ps will do that too?
Some of them will. Okay. I know my 2.0.
I know my P10 will do that.
2.0, not really. 1.0 is like 90% of the time. Slap it in, boom.
Yeah. I was about to say the 1.0, you slap that back in there. Just go, it go right back to work, baby.
Yeah, because see, I wasn't used to that until I got my P10, my CZ P10, threw the mag in there, and that boy was pop, pop. I'm like,
ready to go.
Is the release broke or something? Like, what's going on? And then I had to just looked it up. I was like, oh no, it's like that. That's what's up.
But yeah, man. So I guess that was a question because I asked Sinister. I was like, man, this is what we gonna talk about. But Sinister's like, no, I want to talk about this too. I want to talk about when people buy a firearm and they just sit it in the box in their closet and don't touch it for like 4 years, and then ask me when we going to the range again. And they,
I guess it's like they'll buy it. It's an afterthought. I know somebody.
Yeah, now hold on. Are we talking about collectors, or are we just talking about like everyday just Joe?
They had one gun.
Okay.
And they claim they doing, they got it for self-defense. I know somebody, I ain't gonna say no names, but I know somebody who they carried for years. Did they shoot a lot? No. They carried
we all know
on
that.
and off. They were at home as a female, at home with their son. Caught somebody climbing in the window. It froze. just stood there. And then, the two guys who were coming in the window saw her, turned around and ran. I said, so what were you going to do if they made it all the way in? I don't know. I said, so that's a mindset and a training thing. I said, your mindset is not that, gun protection.
Right.
It's, I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I said,
you gotta get them trained up, man.
But see, and then the mindset is like you go to training, but you learn mindset when you're at training. Like you're not just like we're not just shooting. We learning mindset, preparation, right? So it's all of it, right? And some of that, and just being aware of what's going on and having a action plan and working through that action plan, and like we talk about. Like in-home plan. Do you have a plan if something happens? Now, mind you, he said 2 people.
Right.
When coming into the house, not 1. So what was you gonna do if both of them was in the house? Like, what is your plan with you and your daughter, your kids?
Right.
Like, are y'all running to the back? Are y'all running to a safe place?
Right.
Mama got the thumper. She gonna protect us. Does she know how to navigate? Does she know how to navigate the corner or navigate the hallway? Like, we not attacking down there. We gonna let them do. We gonna be vocal to them and let them know. But are we gonna hold ground where we at and let them do what they do? Take it by, okay, keep it moving.
And that's a mindset in itself too, man. That people, the average Joe don't really, and it's hard for all of us, even those of us that do train. But that's a mindset in itself to just understand that I got insurance for this. You know what I'm saying? If this gets stolen, let it be. Because as a man, I don't care who you are, but as a man. As an adult, especially as a man, when somebody come in your house, you start feeling violated. Like, dog, why you in my stuff?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to kind of turn that part of you wanting to go out up on them versus, like you said, sitting back. It is what it is. As long as y'all don't come in this square here, we ain't got to,
You got options.
Yeah.
You can announce yourself, hey, I got to fire him, get out of here. Or you got a family and you got them back, hey, they get past this point.
Right.
Right, it's that right. How close
right.
What's the limit?
What's your threshold?
What's your threshold?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you teach that in your class.
Yeah, all day.
I teach that in my class.
Yep.
I was looking on Instagram and I read up some papers in Philly. The dude got it was a car. I guess it was some guys that stole his car. He heard him. He didn't hear him. He walked outside and caught them stealing the car. Right. So the guy that was stealing the car had a gun on him. So now that situation changed from a car theft to the dude was trying to protect himself. So they got in a shootout. One of the guys one of the guys he shot him a couple times. The guy ran off, but he wound up dying later, right? But then the other guy drove off with the car and got in the car and then jumped out, right? So when you said people, you hear cars, somebody breaking in your car outside,
right? And
then like in Philly, that may be something different, but like in Michigan. You can't just run out there with your thumper. And like first of all, if you hear somebody breaking in your car, you're in their house. You just don't want to run outside because you don't know what they could be drawing you outside to get into your house, right?
Right.
So you really got to understand laws of Michigan and understanding what how to protect yourself. Like you just don't want to run outside with the thumper and start busting at them because they could just be still in the car. Now, if a gun presents itself in a situation, that could be a different, classified as a different, situation, and the prosecutor, whoever, may look at it like, oh, it's a self-defense, but they're gonna say, well, why did you go outside?
So
what was your intent?
So I'm not gonna go into detail because it's not that kind of show, and I don't want us to be labeled as, they telling us or teaching us such and such. No, that ain't the case. But like you just said, you have to know your laws.
Yep.
To know what you can and can't do, and I don't want to say what you can and can't get away with, but I'm just saying what you legally are able to do, because that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
Because hypothetically, big time air quotes, hypothetically speaking, there have been scenarios where that has happened and people have gotten away with it, as the victim, because they did go outside. And again, I hate to quote Training Day, but the quote Training Day, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, my man said he walked outside and it was, oh my God, somebody said in my car. Opposed to, I hear somebody, hey, officers, I'm about to go outside. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Even in our CPL class, we teach them people how to talk on the phone to the police. Like you can't say I ran outside, but I'm about to deal with this. No. So you got to understand how that communicate.
Right.
With, you know,
and that's what I'm saying. You got
like he went outside. Like, oh my God, they stealing my car, and he pulled a gun on me.
Right.
Oh yeah, woo, woo, woo.
Right.
Game over. Right.
But if you just happen to be going to your car to get your coffee cup at 6:30 in the morning because you left it in the car, and you known to always have your gun on you, you just happen to catch that happening, and we know that most people are going to be carrying guns. I mean, you know,
it happened in Detroit somewhere.
Big Winks, and you know,
he got in a shootout with a guy who was still in his car. I didn't read too much into the story, but
you talking about the one with the Challenger?
Was it a full blown shootout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in Novi?
Was it the white guy?
It's always a challenger.
No, it was dogs. Them boys, they taking them like this.
Chargers or a challenger.
I don't know. The guy was on the porch and he was busting.
Oh no. So they ain't that. See, I thought you were talking about the one in Novi.
What happened in Novi?
So this dude and his girl. I don't know if it was him and the chick, but this dude was coming back. He had parked his 392 out there. He was somewhere in the Fountain Walk area, and
that's what it was, a carjack.
Yeah, dog. Okay. It was a car theft. So he parked his car, went to go wherever he was at, Black Rock or wherever he was at, came back. He can see them in his car trying to steal the car. He walking up to the car. He a CPL holder. He got his pistol. I don't know how this works out. Maybe, we know how it works out because it's lack of training and everything else. But long story short, one dude got away on foot. They caught one dude, but he the one that wound up catching the bullets.
The owner of the car?
The owner of the car.
So he had the advantage.
Exactly, Sinister. He basically from the way the article and the news story made it seem, because I read it and I saw it on TV. It basically made it seem like he had to drop on them fools, like, y'all breaking in my shit. Now that doesn't per se give him, like you said, the right to just pull out. But if he comes up, hey, what y'all doing in my car, and you already basically got your hand on it, by the time you even fathom that it's a gun, dude, how you basically really didn't even get your gun pulled out and you got popped twice.
Gun being an afterthought.
That's what I'm saying. It's
the mindset and the training.
It's the mindset and the training. Yeah. That's what I said. Well, we really know what happened and how but and that's what basically just further hitting home, like you were saying, it's like, dude, how you get the drop on there, man, and you still get clapped. That's
so he's expired no longer?
No, I think he lived, but it's just the fact that
full of shame.
Right. You call him. That's one of them. Man, listen, man. Unless the story was for real exorbitant, like, especially y'all too, but even with me, in the training that we do, and especially the training what y'all do. But again, I'm including myself in this for training with y'all, the little stuff I do, whatever. Let one of us be the herd that something like that happened.
I'm not.
And we still alive. We gonna make sure the other one's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Sinister good. All right, cool. What hospital he at? We're gonna check on him. Blah blah blah. And as soon as I know you 100% good, dog, how you let that happen, man?
I'm not saying. Listen,
I need details.
We're not trying to say
what happened, man. What happened, baby?
We're not trying to say we Army Rangers.
Right. That's not the case at all. But full disclosure on that. Yeah, we ain't nobody, Rambo out here, nothing like that. But
if you out here stealing cars and you doing all your criminal, I'm better than you.
Right.
That's the whole goal.
Right.
Right. So.
Right.
And like Jeff said, like you right, we're not Army Rangers. We're out here better than ourselves, right?
Right.
We getting better at what my goal always was to educate and train myself to be, and it's a cliche, an asset instead of liability, right? Because I want to protect my wife, I want to protect my kids, I want to protect us. If we out and about,
right.
I know that if it's something get to popping, I already know where he going, he know where I'm going, we know what we about to do, right?
Yep.
And especially in today's world, especially knowing that you bought a Scat Pack, a Charger, or whatever, like these.
You already know.
And especially in the city,
you should already know, man.
Them boys getting got left and right.
Left and right.
You know what I'm saying? And especially like driving in the hood, like my son, he got a Chrysler 300, but he got deep tint, and I'm just like, bro, when you driving, especially now in the summertime, you're gonna have to be kind of cautious. You know what I'm saying? Pull up to the light. Look, you know what I'm saying? Just don't pull up to the light with your head in your phone.
Right.
Don't pull all the way up behind somebody. Keep some space.
Distance,
Keep some distance just in case you got to dip off. Yeah. But that just go back to what Senator was saying, like the mindset. Like people just get the firearm, they keep it in the box, and they don't touch it. Well, then they ask us, when we go to the range, we see y'all out there. Okay, well, come on.
Right.
Oh, man.
We know somebody.
He said, we know something.
Once again, saying no names. We know somebody. Okay. Partner of mine, me and KJ. KJ sold him a firearm How long ago was that? Would you say 5 years ago?
Yeah, pre-COVID, and that was probably
It was
3
way,
years.
It was probably 4.
It was in my Glock 23 days, and I was just like the 40 days.
Yeah, sold him a gun. We spent the day out there shooting, training him.
Mm-hmm.
He hadn't touched it since. I'm talking about cleaned nothing in the closet somewhere. I said, "When the last time you looked at it?" When I moved. It's one of them, people. They get it, and it makes them feel good. It's there, so I'm safe.
I got this.
Instead of training, Instead of training, I say everybody want to be John Wick. They think they're gonna do it. They do all this John Wick stuff. They're gonna come. Somebody gonna come in the house. They got these visions that they're gonna be clearing rooms and all this. And listen, you don't even understand how difficult it is to shoot while you're moving,
man.
So,
or even it's the shoot while you moving. When the buzzer going off, it's a line of 10 people. They shoot next to you, and you jumping.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that in itself, it takes some mental focus to get. So we got the 2-day. Jeff had a primary handgun 2-day class. It was cold out. Sinister. So I'm glad you didn't call me. It was 2 days, right?
The shooter.
It was a 2-day handgun class. It was cold out, right? I'm in my Helly Hansen rain gear thing, right? I'm working my dot. We go through the fundamentals. It was a great class, right? So it's one of them classes, and I understand what he's saying about how 2 days is kind of better than prolonging it,
right?
Because we went through all the Sinister. No, in the beginning class, you get to talking and conversation, and he's explaining all this. But we ready to shoot. So day 2, ain't no more talking. We getting right to it.
Right.
But I went through the fundamentals, and my purpose of going to that class was because I had a red dot, and I know that red dot gives you so much information and lets you know when your grip is shit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it knows when you're like the red dot knowing you present the gun, get it out. That red dot gonna tell you your grip is shit, right? Because I'm trying to find it.
Yeah,
right. And he tell me don't look. Right, the presentation is everything, right? So I'm out there working on grip, but it's cold out. So now my mind is I got to shoot with gloves on. So now that takes away the feel of the firearm.
Dexterity of it, yeah.
It takes away the feel, right? Now, I have a glove on my support hand, my left hand, but I got no glove on my right hand. I need to feel something on that firearm. So I'm working on fundamental, but I got somebody next to me I never shot with before. I got somebody to the right of me never shot with before. I know what I can do.
Right, but you don't know what they can do.
I don't know what they can do.
Or what they can or will or won't do,
or when, like, blood to the next.
Right.
Like, it was a situation, like, he was trying to clear the gun. It was down, but the ambidextrous of that hand went like that. And I was like, oh, okay. So now I'm shooting, but it's just a mental focus to guns going off. We move, we doing this. Now I got to concentrate on my shot. I got to concentrate on my grip.
Right.
All this other stuff going on. So when you go to training, you shooting, but you got to be aware of what's going on around you. And that's kind of help you with your mindset to get laser-like focus, man. Yeah. And like I said, it was an aha moment for me. When I got the red dot and I'm trying to do the presentation, I'm like, okay, just get the wrist, pop the wrist forward and do this. Then like, okay, good. But now I'm looking like, okay, is he gonna point a gun at me to the right? But it's a lot going on. But that just go back to what he was talking about, like the mindset. Like, I wanted to be there. I wanted to get better. I wanted to, train and understand the dot and understand fundamentals of shooting again, because you can't get enough of fundamentals, right? People may see that we post stuff on with Sinister, we out there, we running around and shooting, but we started somewhere, right? You know what I'm saying? We had to build up to that. We had to build up to be, let's say, fancy. You know what I'm saying? Or get at it. But it's fun to do, but that's an actual skill that we take home. That, you know what I'm saying? Like we move and live like that. Right. So like that's still a mindset. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we just try to get that game to people and talk to them about it. But like you said, it goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, I mean everybody starts somewhere. Like
go ahead and finish that thought, but I want you to roll into talk a little bit more about shooting red dot too.
Oh.
But finish your thought first, but yeah.
Yeah, everybody starts somewhere, like y'all were talking about y'all first episode about y'all first guns.
Terrible, right? Terrible, right? I know.
I mean, mine wasn't.
I know.
It wasn't. I wasn't bougie then. I was decent. Like my first one was a Springfield XDM.
Okay.
45.
Okay.
and I started 45, then went 40, then went 9.
Okay.
Like I went backwards.
Okay.
I ended up getting rid of the Springfield and got me a 5-inch 2.0 M&P.
Okay.
I still got my 40, but I worked backwards, which was cool because I learned how to handle a 40, 45,
Right.
40, then 9mm.
Right. So the recoil mitigation was a lot easier to get to once you got the 9mm.
But as far as red dots, red dots, and it's funny. I bought my red dot, I want to say 10 years ago.
Okay.
My RMR. And it was on my 40.
Okay.
And I shot it, played, I just went to the gun range, play with it. Then I ended up I took it to a Jeff class, DMI, and then ran it there, and then it sat. I took it off, put it on a rifle. And me and Kev was playing with it, then put it back on there. Then got another handgun, put it on there. My M&PC 2.0. And then once we got into the staccatos, and I was trying to get him into red dots, and it was hilarious. But getting him in at red dots, like him and RMRs just don't get along. See, SRO, he got that.
I'm like granted with the bifocals with
you got that big old Mr. Watson glass.
We were at an indoor class up in Ann Arbor Arms, and I saw when that light. Like when it clicked, he was, boom. Then he was just hitting it, boom, boom, boom. And I would ask him, "Did you see it? Did you see it?" Like, no. At first, it was no. I was just shooting, and I was like, "Okay." And then after I want to say it was about halfway through the class. Yeah, I see it. Then you could see his shots, boom, 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 being on point.
See, and that's what I'm asking because the last time that we trained, we was I came out there thinking I brought all kind of stuff. I'm thinking we're gonna train like we training for axe, so I'm bringing like the holster. I done got a battle belt. Sinister done told me about you got to get you this belt, so I'm like, I'm like, sure, let me get this. And I ain't as fancy as him, but I'm ready to practice for axe, right?
For sure.
He told me some man, we practicing concealment today, so I'm like, all right, I ain't even really got the right belt on for this or the right holster, but I'm gonna run with it, run with what you got, because at the same time, that's training. Sometimes you may not have what you, but. And I got a mini dot on mine, on my Glock, on my 43X.
I shot it. Yep.
Yeah. So, and I'm sitting here like, it's new to me, and I've shot with it, but I'm still not 100 with it like I am with irons. And it's funny you say. I remember him talking one time. He was saying, I asked him something about it. He was like, shit, don't ask me.
He was still fairly new at it.
That's what he said. He said, man, I'm just new to this red dot, let alone a micro.
I started off on an armor, and that's what I still shoot armor. But it also, when you get a staccato, because of the grip angle, it's easier. Like I noticed between that, I mean, M&P is closer.
Okay.
I've never shot a Glock well. I shot one once with a red dot on it.
Okay.
And it is a little different.
Okay.
It's easier for me to find my dot on my staccato.
Okay.
Than it is even on my M&P.
Is it the angle or the weight and everything?
And the way you you bring it up, and you when you line up, like I told you, I don't look for the dot.
See, and that's what, because
I'm fishing for it. I'm like,
I've been too busy.
I can see
for
your
the
hand, because your hand be doing this.
Where is this dot?
It'd be like this. It'd be like searching. Yeah. I just bring it up and I just move it to a little bit.
So in the DMI performance class, it wasn't a red dot class, but the conversation with the red dot was, what is good enough for you to know that your shot's gonna be on target? Because you shooting A zone, right? So as soon as that glass clear. Like as soon as you target focus. So as soon as that glass clear or see what you need to see, let that shot go.
You don't need a perfect shot.
You don't need a perfect shot because that glass is kind of telling you you're where it needs to be. Now you got a mechanical offset in there because the red dot is on top. But if that glass touches that A zone where A zone is, then you good. So what's good enough for you to crack that shot off, right?
And I started learning that, picking up on that towards the end of our sessions, and I went through like a half a mag just trying to mess with it and play, because that's literally what I was doing. Like I was trying to line up that dot. Like I line up, my irons, and like I'm so used to it. And iron shooting before you get the red dot. Once you get into it, you can literally grab almost, big quotes, almost any gun and bring them sights right to your eye, and it's because you trained for that. You trained your eye on it. So you can almost, like you said, point and shoot and just point shoot more so than because it's already automatically in line. Yeah. So I'm trying to do that with the dot at first, and it's like, I'm not picking up on
Fred, like you see, I was like,
yeah.
It'd be like, yeah, there it is. I'm like,
but see, I had a problem, and I still had this problem. I try to work on it. Like the pressure's supposed to be at the bottom 3, right? The pinky, like this finger, I over. It's too much pressure on this, and that one gets to push the gun to the right, right? So when I was at the class, I was really working on getting the pinky and the bottom fingers more pressure on, and then as soon as you get that pressure on the bottom half, that front of that barrel just go boop, and then here go that dot, boop, it's right there. Yep. I got what you call it, the when you grab a wrench or
I hold it as tight as like you hold a hammer.
Right.
When you were,
you know what I'm saying? Like this finger right here, this one right here is all that pressure, but that is driving the gun left, and that's my shots. If you right, you low left, right?
Right.
So I had to actually force myself to get that grip at the bottom, and even with the Floyd Customs mag extension, it helps me because I can grab it, I get that torque down, and that gun just go boop.
So when I grab, and I've noticed this for years, I grip the gun too tight, and it slows my trigger finger down. I'm just I'm on it, and boom, boom, boom. Like his splits are ridiculous. Like mine is you can hear you can close your eyes and hear like, oh yeah, that's Fred shooting. It's slower, but it's like boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Where his is. It's like
yeah, people like, man, that your double taps is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous,
right?
Yeah, but I grip the gun so tight that it slows my. So I'm working on the same thing. These two fingers, further down, but I don't know, man.
See, so it's funny you said that because I think mine was probably. I think my adjustment for that is probably the same thing, but the difference is. So with my grip and the grip I teach, I'm not gripping so tight here. It's my secondary grip that's tighter here.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gripping too tight with my secondary.
Okay.
That's still causing that same pressure though.
Okay.
They're basically having the same effect, but just from my secondary. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's something I got to change with that to still loosen up a little here, to tighten here more, to kind of find a balance, or.
So that's letting people know that even though we shoot a lot, we still in the learning phase, right? How many times I didn't change?
Always.
Like
I tell people that I'm always a student.
Now, if I go for speed, my grip is shit, right? Because I'm trying to get it up, get it out. Right. Now, I can get it, but I know when I'm cool and smooth with it, my grip is like perfect. You know what I'm saying? Them thumbs is coming down. I'm getting that pressure on the gun. I'm keeping it flat.
Well, they say slow is fast and fast is.
Yeah, but some people argue that little statement.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. There we go. Like that, yeah.
So I try to go with the 80-20 or 90-10. I'm fast on the draw, and then once my presentation get up, I'm kind of slow. To get that thing to drop down to get them shots. But like in the class, that wasn't like my aha moment. It was like, look, whatever that glass cover, and as soon as it come up, you got to be okay with that shot, and then rip it off, and keep it moving.
That's what I do when we take a class. If we going from hosting to up, as soon as I see a flash of that red dot in the area, it's boom, boom, boom. I'm shooting.
Yeah.
Now you're doing accuracy. Of course, you slow down.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Why do people call you Bushy? Why you think they call you Bushy, Sinister, Mr. Bushy on the gun? And I ain't listen. I'm the person that always looking for something new, something different. I don't want to be like everybody else. Everybody same thing. But at the same time, some of the stuff I done got would been some shit, and they like, man, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. Because listen, I don't.
And then when I buy stuff, I'm be like, man, Sinister gonna be on some tip like, you shouldn't have bought that shit. You shouldn't have bought that.
Yeah. Well, because I'm always, just spend the money up front. Buy once, cry once, right? You just go in there, you get it. Like my brother. Like we've had conversations about. He had to learn. He know how I am. You was on the phone.
You heard it.
Yeah, you heard him, but he know how I am. Like I'm gonna tell you no more than you, because I'm gonna tell you what. Like if you talking about some buying this, why? Like okay, why don't you go get this? We know this work.
Right.
Why are we going over here and trying to experiment? Let somebody else experiment with that with their money. Okay, let's get what work, and then if that other thing turns out to be proven, you get that later.
His big thing with that was like rifles. You know what I'm saying? Especially on a rifle brand. He was just like, it makes sense. It's kind of hard for a new brand to break into to a world where is dominated by some longevity of guns or rifles.
No, I'll be there.
But it's some brands out there that's new to the game that got some
legit, but I ain't gonna find out.
Yes.
Like, what was your first rifle?
First of all, I'm the guy that I am that experimental guy, but I'm gonna tell you why though, because like getting past the whole new to this and the high point, this, that, and the third. Once I see like, I'll take somebody like Fred, like Sinister, and be like, you look, he like this up here because we know that's proven. The curiosity in me is like, what can I do with this one here? You know what I'm saying? Because if I can definitely do it with that, that's like if I'm driving, if I know I can do this in a Ferrari, can I do that in my Mustang? And if I can do it in my Mustang, why do I got to spend the money for the Ferrari if I can do it in my Mustang? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's that balance. So
mine's come from, when we take classes or competitions, right? And then we've seen people. This is why I got rid of my Springfield. Yeah. We've taken classes with people who had Springfield 9mm or whatever, and it constantly was, having issues. And I was like, I'm good. So, but you know what I'm saying? It comes from that. Like when we run, because you out in the class and they putting dirt in your gun.
I feel you. Yeah, all day.
You know what I'm saying? They causing malfunctions, and you out in the mud dropping mags and doing all this, and certain rifles are just running. And then you got some rifles that just have problems. Like as soon as they offer something foreign into it, it's a problem. So
like the hand, like even with the rifle, like the handguns, like you're not gonna go out there and drop it in the mud and do whatever. Right. But it's the fact that maybe that 250th round now it's gonna start doing something because now it's hot. Right. Especially with the rifle. Like you out there running, like we come from a world where it was 800 rounds out of training one day was 1,000. Was nothing. Now it's like a little different because of the way of the world. So we out there shooting 200 or 300 rounds. That bolt, that rifle start doing some weird. It start
tweaking.
You start tweaking. Now people looking at you. Well, what you got? Right. What you got? Right. Oh man, you need to go put some oil to do it. Well, man, it's it's more of an ego like punch. Right. Like I bought this gun. Sinister told me not to get this shit. I gotta hear his mouth all the way home.
The one with the one you bought, Aero Precision, right?
Yeah.
And it was out of spec. And the pin just kept coming out.
The pin kept coming out of the bolt catch.
Bolt catch, yeah. Damn. And the pin just kept coming out. I said, dog.
I was ready to scrap the whole project, start over.
Who told you to buy that?
Listen, if you'd have found me a Novetzke for $500, I didn't care what it cost. I was gonna get it. That's how pissed I was, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's what but that's what, like I said, my first rifle was a Daniel Defense.
Okay.
And then the other two I built.
Okay.
They all
I remember you telling me that one.
Yeah, they all got BCM, Novetzke, parts like that. So yeah, they work good with that combination. So I just that's why they call me bougie, because I'd rather wait. I'll spend the money. Like I want that Staccato XC. That boy, what, 4?
I don't know.
Yeah,
5G.
First year of a junior college or college.
Almost $5 bands. Yeah.
I'm gonna get it, and I'm definitely getting me a Knight's armament. I know I've been playing, but I'm definitely getting me a Knight's armament. And but
all this stuff is out my price range.
Mine too.
Listen, it ain't really in mine, but I want it.
I want it.
Yeah, but it's just I just feel like especially if it worked. Like I'm not about like, what was that gun called that you wanted that went out of business? You love that gun.
The Hudson.
Oh yeah, them Hudson. Yeah.
Ooh, me and him went at it on that Hudson. I was like, don't touch it, don't buy it, don't buy it, don't buy it. And he wanted it bad, and then look what happened.
It was something. You know what was funny, and that's how I feel about that one Alien gun. What's the name of that company?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where it's got the real slim profile. Mm-hmm. Man, I'm skeptical on it. Like it looked kind of weird out of this world. They say it's accurate, but I look at it the same way like that Hudson. Like, man, that seemed like a novelty type of gun. Like I don't even know if that's gonna stay on the market. Like,
I'll let somebody else find out.
Yeah. Well, and then going back to something he said about grip angles and this, like you see stuff on IG and they just showing a gun. They just in the range shooting it with a suppressor on it or whatever, right? That gun may fit his hand perfect, or he just showing it because he got the company send it to him, or he got to get some. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's promotional.
It's promotional. Now that doesn't necessarily that gun's gonna fit your hand, your profile, right? Like Jeff said, he like MMPs because you can change the grips on it, opposed to the Glock, right? You got to get it done up, right?
Right.
Great Lakes Custom Works, they do great work to Glocks. Go get a grip. That's the little hashtag. But you with the M&P, you can change it right there on the spot. Now he likes that because of his hand, right?
Right.
So you got to get a gun and shoot it to know if that angle is or that gun feels right in your hand. Especially with us in our community, it's hard because we go to price first.
Right.
It's price over product, right? And price shouldn't drive like what you buy. It should be more if this is reliable, how I feel in my hand. Then I'm gonna tell you all the guns that in order to what you should get. Like it's my opinion.
Right.
Now when it comes to like red dots and all that, it's but for different discussions. But for the most part, I can say, look, I ran 5 or 6 10,000 rounds through this firearm. I ain't had an issue. I didn't ran this. I didn't have this in the class. This not an issue. But it shouldn't be driven by price, right? Now a lot of like we talked about before, the industry is kind of changing. Like what some of the prices is some guns out there that's solid enough to buy with a good price. I haven't shot it because there's no point for me to buy it, and I'm not just gonna run out and buy a firearm just because I see people on IG with it. Because if you don't do what I do with the firearm,
what difference does it make? Yeah.
If you don't run this thing if you don't run it to the fault line till it's ready to fall off the cliff, I'm not about to buy it. I don't care if you're going in the range shoot it with a suppressor on it or this and this 5-6 rounds.
Right.
That ain't me. I'm running around with this gun. I'm laying on the ground.
Running it.
It's in dirt. It's in rain. Like we was at this axe match. We about to whip our staccatos out.
I was there.
Yeah, when it started raining, and Jeff was like, you better not do it. You gonna get. We was like, okay, we gonna put this thing
Jeff
up.
was like, you get a speck of sand in them boys, and I looked at both of y'all. Y'all both had this
in there.
Y'all both had this look like M&Ps. Let's go ahead and switch.
And that was just more or less like, okay, I don't feel like cleaning this. I don't feel like
going deep and cleaning it.
Yeah, I ain't feel like going deep.
But
like it shouldn't be driven by, oh, this is a good price, this is affordability. Like you said, save up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get that firearm that works. You know what I'm saying? Like get something that's gonna work and you can rely on for a long time. And then, like you said, but use it. Make sure the mindset of to get out and get some training.
And to go with all of that, man, that's like it's like we had a conversation I think it was when Jeff was here. We was talking about guns, and I know you're a CZ guy with the orange, but I'm a P10 guy. And while I got the C, I really want the competition. If I can't get the competition, I'll settle for the F, you know what I'm saying, for going out with X and everything. But until then, I was switching from my Glock to my CZ and calling it a day. But reason being is because I like Glocks. I've always liked Glocks, but I got a bunch of you just said it yourself earlier, the Springfield. I got 3 or 4 Springfields, and I'm one of them dudes that I like Springfields, and there's certain models that I do trust. Like I carry my Hellcat all day, but that's a whole different type of animal. Yeah. But that P10, dog, when you talking about fit in hand and fit and finish, and then bring it up, and then I love it. Like I said, when you was talking about why you ain't carrying that, because again, I like the profile of this 43X. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the profile of this of that Hellcat, which is why I got the little. But I plan on going ahead and get the Pro because this is the bigger, whatever. But if they made a P10 and a slimmer profile like that, like if that S was a little bit slimmer, you'd never see me carry another Glock again. And I love Glocks. I love Glocks. Matter of fact, I thought about buying another one just because, like, man, I need another Glock. It's you one of them type of guys. But when it comes to like actual, like you said, fit, the way it shoot, the way it moves, dependability, durability. 1,000+, 2,000 rounds through it, man. That P10 for me, that's it right there. I'll run that whole P10 family right there and be like you said, I'm better than you. Yeah, it may not be the case, but that's the confidence level I have with that gun because I've literally, look, man, I catch myself in classes, especially when I have like smaller classes, Like I'll tell people like, all right, like let's say it's the three of us, right? And it's just me teaching y'all two. Once we done through the whole class and we just got extra time, we playing around. All right, man, let's play a little game. We're gonna put it out to about 30 yards or 30 feet, and we literally just gonna put it on the deck, pick it up, boom, and just shoot one. I'll play that game with them just to kind of keep them up there and keep them enthused with it. But I find that I come up looking like I'm, showboating or whatever because I'm so used to that gun. Right. I'll pick it up and just without even really looking, boom, and put one dead ass center. And everybody started looking at me like, you're just showing off on us and shit. And I'm like, it's kind of the gun and it's my relationship with the gun. That's so don't really think that, I'm just that because I'm like, I'll put my Glock 19 out and I'm not going to do that with that. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's crazy.
And I've had that longer.
You know what? He started off as a Glock guy. I was an M&P guy.
And now y'all
and I still have more M&P. I've only got one Glock. But I've shot my Glock 17 more than all my other handguns combined. But that's my Glock. Even with the stock trigger, I was doing work. And I never had, he couldn't, once we got into these fancy triggers. And then he would go back, he could not shoot a Glock.
Fancy.
Could not shoot a Glock.
It's kind of, it's a no-go.
I'm fine with a Glock trigger.
But you know what, though?
I pull it down on it. I'm hard on it.
Like we talked about with Chad, though, I do want to try their new performance trigger, though. I want to try it just to see how it is. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah.
Because he got that Timothy.
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
He got that Timothy trigger in his Glock 17. It's nice.
I keep hearing him. Nice. Hey, Timothy makes some really good triggers, period. We was talking about that. We're talking about rifles and shit, too. But,
But see, even with that, like, we talking about grip in our relationship, right? So, when we at in Sinister probably could talk about this a little better. Like, when you go out there with your lady friend and they want to buy a firearm, what do you tell them they should get? Because, we go to the store, we say everybody want to buy that little LPC 90.
There's always
some type of 38.
It's always a Ruger LP9 or whatever it's called. Always. And I'll be like, just looking at them, like, yeah, that one. And I'm like, listen, it's either Glock 43, was it 43?
43X.
I say Shield. It's usually between them. I say if you want to get a SIG, you can throw that in there depending on how it feel for you. But it's always those two. Always an M&P or a Glock. A Glock 19. That's usually where I try to start them at and see if it's too big.
But what about when I say I want that pink L, that Ruger?
Anytime I hear, females always say, I want something cute. Anytime I hear that, I say, this ain't about cute.
Red flag.
Now. Yeah. Right. Say that for your purses and other things. Like, this ain't about cute.
I like it. Treat that firearm like your purse.
Glock making, colorful Glock.
It's a few of them. It's a few. Not just Glock now, because I saw, who else? I think Springfield starting to make something like in Tiffany Blue, and somebody else is too. I forget who, but I did see somebody else is making guns in at least that Tiffany Blue.
Maybe trying to get the female in there, and which is fine, but I just listen. As soon as I hear Ruger, I just Taurus. Taurus used to be
yes. I've never been a Ruger Taurus fan either, but I will say this. I'm gonna tell you. See, and this is where stuff like that. I get to be the guy that be the test dummy, so to speak, with guns. I've always hated and disliked Tauruses. I still steer people clear from Tauruses. It's like, you want to get one, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you the one Taurus pistol, semi-auto, that intrigues me enough that I'm actually willing to pay for it and just ain't done it to shoot it yet, is that new GX4.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
Right, because it's a Taurus. But I'm just saying, it's a new. I know, but
I don't even know what we're talking about.
You don't know.
I'm telling you, as soon as I hear it,
but only reason why is because it's literally all them other guns like the 43, the M&P Shield, the Hellcat, the 365. It's literally. It's like a carbon copy of that, and if you look at the way it's made, it's not made like every other Taurus.
Right.
Like Taurus must have realized, we some bullshit. If we want to actually start selling for real guns, we might need to start making a real gun, and that's kind of, it's literally made like all them other guns are made now. It ain't.
I hope so.
The crap, at least from what I understand. Again, I ain't put one in shot yet, but
And the Pop Culture 2 to 3 podcast, we not about to go out and buy all this crap.
Right.
We ain't about to do that. Because I ain't about to do that.
No, I know somebody that has one, so I'm just gonna borrow theirs and shoot it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
You ain't gonna never catch me on.
Somebody else do it.
On having a lifestyle, buying all these guns and trying them out. Because for what? I'd rather just show you a good drill to do with the gun I got and work your gun. But let me ask you this: we were talking about it and throwing this back and forth. and Chad kind of spoke on it, like the CPL instructor worth their weight in salt. Like bad information is getting put out there.
Ugh.
Now I seen something.
I know what you're talking about.
I seen something. We was talking about it, and we're not about to say any names or whatever where it come from.
You want to go over? Are you?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go over. We'll run the segment and go
A
over.
little bit.
Yeah.
We got about 8. What we got? 5, 6 minutes.
We got about 5. We'll take it to 15.
Okay, so look,
15.
the idea. I heard somebody. I seen this, and the conversation was about carrying firearms and carrying a backup mag or a backup gun, right? So the idea was if one gun goes down, grab your second backup gun and grab it. It's faster to get to your backup gun opposed to get to your backup mag. But I'm just like, if you got 2 guns, you got 2 mags on you. So what's the difference?
I just feel like that's a lack of training. That is like you can't, because some people just they cannot change mags fast. They just can't do it, but it's a lack of training, right? It's practice. I mean, you could just sit there in front of the TV and do it. But if you think it's faster to go for it, now, I've talked to my brother about this, and he don't shoot like we shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But even he said it. He was like, "Ain't it faster to just change the mag?" I said, "Bingo!" Like I don't understand this walking around with 2 guns. So let me get this right. I got a Glock 19 on me, and a Glock and a staccato. Let's say if my staccato, my main gun, and I pull my staccato out, I run dry. I'm dropping my staccato to grab a Glock 19. What world are we living in? Who came up with this?
I'm here all day, fellas.
Buffoonery. Like what? I don't even understand it. Like,
So what's your profile? What are you wearing to conceal 2 semi-compact or compact firearms to say, okay?
you got 2 shields, so you got 2. You got a 43X and a shield.
And here's my thing about it too. And I got an example. Remember, y'all both was there. So the time we was doing the training, and we put that one steel target off.
Yep.
We hit the 2 targets or the 3 targets, then walked down that steel one, and boom, boom, boom. I pulled the dry mag out.
Yeah.
Went to load it, seen it was dry, got rid of it, grabbed a new one, put that one in. I guarantee you, from the average Joe, I had a mag change malfunction and still got a new mag in. I bet you in more time or less time than it took for somebody to literally drop a gun,
And
pull
grab
another gun, get it out there and go. And I'm the novice more or less between the 3 of us with all this, and I know I got that out fast enough because I watched the video back and forth a lot. Like, man, critiquing myself just to see him. Wait a minute. So you telling me it's faster to go ahead and just have a second hole pistol that I can barely conceal?
You got 2
Come
guns.
on, man.
You got 2. You got what? You got a gun at the 12 o'clock and one at the 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
So let's just.
Who is doing this?
Let's say you got it at 3 and you may have it at 9 or whatever on both sides of the hip.
3 and 4.
Whatever.
Or 3 and
say
5.
you got the middle of your back. What if you fall down? Now you fell
Right.
down on the
Fighting on your
firearm.
back.
Now you fighting on your
Right.
back. Most fights in compact gonna go to the ground.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen.
You just dropping guns.
Right.
But you're paying someone to teach students and uneducated people that some people run around with Dracos, and you got a they got semi-automatic guns, and you got guns. It's quicker for you to throw your gun on the ground and go back and get a second gun that you got hidden somewhere, and then get back in action. Like, first of all, your gun go. First of all, if you in a shootout, you're ill prepared for it in the first place, right?
All
They
day.
ambush, so
All
something
day.
went wrong. Either
All
you
day.
walked into something you weren't supposed to.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. So that in itself, you wasn't ready for it.
You wasn't
So
ready to begin with.
I'm trying to get the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And if in a regular shootout, 9 out of 10, you get some off, the person that's coming at you, they may just dip off.
Right.
So you might not even get through a whole mag. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, but if you in some shit, a shootout, like, you probably ill prepared for it in the first place.
In the first place.
But you got uneducated people, like people that's trying to learn from you, and you're telling them, hey, just dump the gun and go grab your other gun. And let's say the class.
But wait, you're forgetting the other magic part. It ain't just if you run out to dump the gun and get another one. It was also the part of if you got your gun out and they come up on you and they grab your gun, you still have another gun you can get to be able to use.
So there and again, you had contact distance. So hands, you got hands. So you
my whole part with that was, first of all, if I got my pistol out and it's presented in a manner of which I'm ready to use, you're not getting close enough up on me to touch that gun.
Somebody that close, this is why you're supposed to carry a knife.
You know what I mean? If I've already presented myself fully out, there's no way you're walking up on me without already catching 4 or 5 or how many I'm going to dump before you drop.
That's why you need...
flat out. And if that's the case, we about to just be fighting then, because I'm not about to give you a gun for me to try to get a gun to get shot with my own first gun. That just sounds stupid.
Yeah, but
what class is that in DMI? Is that a performance handgun or everyday carry?
Yeah, he changed
it. But it's
probably every day.
Definitely a DMI class where you teach close quarters and stuff like that, but you got a space that you don't want nobody in. And I don't understand, like I said, the whole 2-gun thing.
Listen, it was people in the class and they was like, "Show you right on." That's what you're supposed to do. I'm just like, no.
Comments. I looked at the comments. You see, just fire. I said, no. Like who came up with this? Like, why are we? But this is what happens when you have an instructor that everybody thinks, just because they're an instructor, they know what they're talking about and what they're saying is gold. You know what I'm saying?
At a facility that,
you have to look around.
The in-house.
You got to do your research.
Yep.
You got to look around.
Yep.
And you got to also have common sense.
Yep.
And that was not.
But I guess they gotta have common sense. But when you got a professor that's telling you, because you think they up there to teach you something, that they teaching you the right thing. I guess the common sense is, let me go back and research. Let me ask somebody else. But see, Sinister, he's hard. He's harder on us.
Right.
As far as, because we cut corners.
Right.
In that training, they cut corners.
Right.
But he's hard. He's real critical. But that's cool, because we supposed to be, right. We supposed to be better.
Wait. Who cut corners?
No, we like us in training, not like us, but like
us,
but the culture, our culture. We cut corners.
I'm about to say, shoot, I tried not to cut.
No, I'm just saying, but
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's $50 class opposed to $115 class.
Or a 4-hour class instead of a 10-hour class.
Right.
It's hard to get our people out to shoot and to convince them, because we're behind the 8 ball as far as being in the gun culture anyway. So it's like when I got into it, and Kev got me into it. Really, we saw each other it's funny. We saw each other at a gun range. He was like, "You shoot?" I'm like, "Yeah, I shoot at the gun range." He was like, "You train?" I want to, and then it jumped off from there. That's all it took.
That's how you good for getting folks in the neck. That's how we talked on Instagram. And when you shoot, I shoot. You train. I want to. Let's
get at it.
And I went the same route. He was like MDFI. Went to MDFI first class, one class, and then he was like, "I'm gonna introduce you to my buddy Jeff." I'm like, okay. And once I got with Jeff, then it was like, now I'm a DMI guy. And nothing against Trek and MDFI. I still love going out there every now and then, but. It's just, it's easier and and I know Jeff personally.
Right.
So, but, it's, I don't know, man. It's all about training. Like, everything boils down to training. And if you ain't training correctly, man, it's just.
It just burned me to see that, like, the information you giving out.
Right.
And then it's our people that's going to be in there.
We're going to ask Dre this question, too. Because a lot of people don't know Dre's one of my former students as well. So when we went to the range and we went shooting, did the shooting part for your class, you know how we do and how I trained. But what else did you happen to notice about other people in their shooting?
Shit, bad posture. Shit. Hey, look at me, I'm shooting a gun. Females with no idea why they shooting a gun in the first place. Shit, it was all kind of shit.
And this that same facility though, mind you, that we talking about. But it's like, man.
But I know
y'all just letting folks get off like. And full disclosure, I didn't just bring Dre on here and be like, hey, Dre, say this, that, and the third. Dre really is one of my former students, and we literally were at that same facility, not the same day or whatever, but and experience those same types of things.
So I'm just like, okay, hey, you want to be a CPL instructor? Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna get you trained just enough to teach the class.
Right.
But where's your education? Okay, so to teach curriculum out of the CPL, NRA or USCCA, that's cool, right? But when it comes to tactics and you teaching something outside of that book, especially even like USCCA got other classes you can take,
right,
to help you.
Yeah, they got defensive pistol one,
yeah,
defensive.
But if you don't have no background into defensive pistol, took classes outside of that box,
right,
you don't know how to apply that, and you can't just tell everybody how to move a tactic or teach people tactics that ain't like on that level,
right?
Like mentally, mindset, physically. So you need to catch them at their level and then work them up to where they're can be proficient at what they do and how they everyday life, how they carry, right? You can't just give them, hey, these people got an AK chopper, and you just gonna dump. First of all, I ain't gonna throw no gun away. Somebody got an AK chopper. First of all, but you tell them to go dump the gun, get to your backup gun, shoot that.
Everybody don't got Dracos. Everybody, I know it's the popular thing, but everybody don't have Dracos. So don't think that everybody got a Draco and that's who you coming up at.
I think that was more of a hit on like Detroit or the neighborhood environment that people be in. They think, we driving up down the street with Dracos in the car, or they watching Instagram. So that's more of okay, you need to train with us or come here because you see all these people in your neighborhood with Dracos. Man, okay.
Still. No. Everybody don't got no goddamn Draco. They don't.
But it just burned me up, man. And like to think that information was just given out. Like,
no, I don't. Like, okay, so I know people who do carry, like, if you carry a revolver as your, a second gun, like a pocket gun or something like that, or whatever, small on your back gun. I get that, but they still have
a spare
semi-automatic with a spare mag. And people think you spare mag. How many people you shooting at? It ain't really about that. You know what I'm saying? You might have that mag may have issues, and you get rid of that.
Ooh,
because most of the time
that's what we talked about. It's
the mag.
It's a tactical reload.
You reload that, get that fresh mag in that probably is functioning better.
Yeah.
And then you good. But it's I don't know, man. The bad information out here, and of course, it's always, no matter what industry you in, shooting, whatever.
And I see, and Trek said something about this, and I never thought about this. So every time when you put your mag in, you put it in and you rack it and slide, go forward. It could be the round in that. Like people go, do you circulate your ammo? Do y'all circulate your ammo out your defensive ammo?
Yeah.
You take the top one off and put another one on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of times you constantly racking that boy through there.
Yeah. And even if you're not racking it and you just doing a press check or something, you still to get the same effect of, in and out, in and out.
See, look.
And what a lot of people don't know when you do that, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
Start pushing that bullet further down in that casing, and now you can overpressurize that round.
But now that may be a problem with the gun jamming.
Yep.
So now do you know lock back, unload, reload? Now that second mag is important because it hasn't been through that harassment. That first round hasn't been through that harassment.
Yep.
So do people know to recycle that first bullet out? You know what I'm saying? To get
I do
to
it
another
all, man.
one.
I recycle that first bullet, and actually I go as far as taking that one. I'll pull out 4 more and put that boy 4 down and keep cycling it that way. And I also will cycle mag. So I'll take my spare mag, make it my primary mag, and my primary mag, my spare mag. And I got a third. So
but you got a system in place that you conscious in making that decision. I need to change this out because this one bullet may be, one round may be a problem. Right. And it may not even be a problem.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying?
It's possible it should be in compromise though.
Yeah. Hey, how much time we got? I got some good things to talk. I got to put some things out there. So look, I'm gonna put it out there right quick.
Let's go. We got about 5 minutes.
Okay, so look, I know
about 10 minutes.
This was an accomplishment for me. Okay, I was at the class.
Okay,
we did a walk back drill. What you laughing at? Walk back drill. We started at 25.
Okay.
First shot, bing. That's everybody in line, right? So next one up. We go to 25. Bing. We go to 75. Bing. The last one was 100. Bing.
This is him shooting that steel.
This is me shooting that steel.
Steel, right?
Bing, that's the steel.
That's the steel, right? But it's so I never won it, right? Sinister didn't won it, but it was 100 yards. My last shot was at 100 yards. Bing. But the accomplishment was that it was heavy ammo. It was about 50-mile-an-hour wind. I was running heavy ammo, 124 grain. Bing. Now that's a compliment for me because I make ammunition. I'm not a professional, at this, but I'm here all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a professional. It's just heavy ammo.
I got it on me.
And Jeff tried to play me. When the little text he said, well, I shot it and the gun went off. I was like, boom. And I'm waiting for that immediate gratification. It don't come. But I got my gun and I'm presentating. I'm looking at it. 2 seconds later, you hear it, bing. I was like, thank God. But then, Jeff tried to play me, and I started thinking, I was like, that was my own ammo at 100 yards and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So when I tell the story, it's 70-mile-an-hour winds, all right?
Yeah, right. 5 years from now, it's going to be
70 miles. But I was just like,
hurricane out, tornado.
Man, it was windy.
Still made that shot.
It was heavy ammo, and I was just like, hey, I accomplished something. I did something.
Now, hey, red dot or irons though?
It was red dot. Okay. But even with
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment right there. Yeah.
You knew the red dot. So, yeah.
So I zeroed mine at 10 yards, right? And Jeff was saying something about, well, where you zero your rifle at, like 36. He said, so why didn't you zero it at like 25? So, but it's a formula. Everybody got their own.
Yeah,
I got mine.
The supposed,
Right.
The thing is a 25 for all red, pistol or smaller red or reflex.
So at 75 yards, I was low, right? Yeah. So I knew at 100 yards
he was gonna be stupid and low in the ground.
Right. So I adjusted for it, right, the holdover. But he like that ain't my strong suit on that holdover, whatever.
Right.
But he didn't pound it in my head, what to do. So I just went up a little bit and it was like, shh, bing, bing. I was just like at 100 yards.
So let me ask you this, man, because I know you the resident red dot guy more or less for who's in the room. So we talking holdover real quick because I know we, like I said, short on time. You talking holdover. So you talking that distance. 25 yards is money because you zero that 25, right? So that's whatever. When you go out to like a 50, 75, how much holdover? Like if you could measure it like in terms of like visual distance, inch, centimeter, however you want to unit it. Like how much higher do you think you would have to go?
I don't see. For me, like I don't do mine at 25 either.
Okay.
So mine's more like 16 or something like. It's weird,
okay.
But I treat it just how I treat. Like I'm sound like I'm not answering the question, but I'm trying to answer it.
No, I got you.
But it's the same as my rifle. So like once when I'm close and I'm distant, I kind of do it like my rifle. You know what I mean? So once I get to where I know my handgun is good at, which is 16 yards or whatever. If you got 25, then it's 25. But usually it's you holding high.
Right.
And it's now how high? Like I said, that depends on the gun, the barrel.
That's what I was. Yeah.
So the bullet.
Yeah.
It's just. But once again, train.
Oh.
You gotta, because it's everybody. Like my guns, I try to make them the same. You know, between my M&PC and my staccato. Same distance and all that, so everything is like you said.
But see, like at that 75, 85, whatever, 75, 85 yards, it hit low on the steel. So I knew right there. That was the information. Like, okay, I got to come up a little bit.
It was like low left.
I was like low.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. That heavy ammo, I was on it. I was running.
So you already knew then you had to just come up. Probably
it was an information. Yeah, it was information. I seen it hit. Boom. Caught. The first two I called my shots. I knew where they're at. The next one it was like bing low. I was like, okay, this information.
Yep.
So I just adjusted
to it. Yep.
And I was just like, okay. So like the last thing is, man, that Erica's Big Day. The book is on the Kindle. So it's uploaded on the Kindle now. So everybody can go to the website ericasbigday.com and download the. On there to show you how to go to the Amazon app or to download it on the Kindle. So we have it in books, but now we pushed it to the Kindle so you can just immediately get it, and it's also cheaper.
Right.
So everybody go to Erica's Big Day, Erica's _Big Day on IG, and on the website is ericasbigday.com.
Yes, sir.
Go on there and see all the cool stuff that we have put up, especially with that Kindle. I think that Kindle is going to be a game changer because everybody want to buy the book, but then they see the prices and it's like, well, we order it, then they got to go online. You know how that whole thing is. But now you can just get it on the Kindle. It's right there, $10. Download it. You get the popping.
All right.
So that's about it from me. I want to thank Sinister 556 for showing up today, my brother.
Hey, by any chance, man, you feeling froggish? You want to give folks your socials where they can find you, or you just nope?
No.
No, I'm Sinister 556 on Instagram. That's where it came from.
Hey, the buff man, Crunch. Yeah, Crunch. Now look at him.
Find me at Crunch.
Hey, we gonna call him Buff Shooter from now on.
Buff Shooter. You can find that shirt.
Listen, we old. I gotta get in shape, man.
You can find that shirt on heavymetallife.com.
Buff Shooter.
Buff Shooter. You can find that shirt on www.heavymetallife.com. That cool shirt he got on. I also want to thank the Authentic Dre podcast for showing up, being on the show today.
Yes, sir.
This has been brought to you by Real Life Call of Duty.
Say show, Real Life Call of Duty. All right, man, that's it. We out. Go share, go support. We need everybody. That's about it.
Peace.
Peace.
See.